me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Katie, will you please perform the roll call?
Councilwoman Gotchall? Here. Councilman Duran?
Here.
Councilman Jackson?
Here.
Councilman Looper?
Here.
Councilwoman Camp? Here. Councilman Tucker?
Here.
Mayor Nichols?
Here. Let me start out with the mission of the City of Craig is providing exceptional service, enhancing the quality of life, and preserving our cultural values while investing in the future. I'll go ahead and call the November 25th, 2025 Craig City Council meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Consists of approving the minutes from November 11th, 2025 regular council meeting, approval of the minutes from the November 18th, 2025 special council meeting, approval of the bills through November 20th, 2025 in the amount of $515,766.22. Council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Councilman Duran made a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by Councilwoman Gotchall. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have the consent agenda approved. Item 2, approval of the agenda for November 25th, 2025, regular council meeting.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Councilwoman Gotchall made a motion to approve the agenda as presented, seconded by Councilwoman Kemp. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Item 3 is presentations. Councilwoman Kemp, would you please come forward? I don't want any fingerprints on it. Can you read that for us?
Yep, it says, thank you for your service on the Craig City Council 2024 to 2025.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
You want to read that too?
Thank you for your service on Craig City Council. Jesse James Jackson, 2021 to 25.
Our next item is going to be the swearing in of our 2 new council members. The judge cannot be here tonight, so I have the honors of swearing in the man. Dale, why don't you come forward?
We just walk away. Right? I think you're at least this.
Thank you.
You bet.
Jesse.
I have too much fun.
I won't. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Raise your right hand for me, please. I, state your name.
I, Janelle Linsford,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the City of Craig Charter and municipal ordinances,
the City of Craig Charter and municipal ordinances,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of council member.
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of City Council member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You sign Thank you. Take your seat.
Where do I sit?
Joe Herod, would you come forward, sir? You want to raise your right hand? You've been here before, so you know all this. I state your name.
I, Joe Herod,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the City of Craig Charter and municipal ordinances,
and the Craig City Charter and municipal ordinances,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of council member.
and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of council member.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. And then that's it, right? Yep. I left my pen down there. Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to welcome, congratulate our new council members. We're going to have a very busy year. We've had a couple busy previous years, and going to hit the ground running here. So, 3C, Steve Hinkmeyer to present the Yampa White River Green Basin Roundtable update. Steve, come on up.
Good evening. I'm Steve Hinkmeyer. I'm your representative on the Yampa White Green Basin Roundtable. I represent the city of Craig and the town of Dinosaur. So it's a municipalities, Moffat County municipality seat that I fill. So it's been a while since I've been before the board, so I thought I would just kind of give an update to what I'm doing and what's going on with the Yampa White Green Roundtable. I thought I'd cover tonight what I do to represent you, which is actually a lot, a lot of time and effort. I can kind of update you on the projects that I've been able to help Peter and the city of Craig with over the last several years. I worked a lot on the Yampa Integrated Water Management Plan, working on different projects. None of them have come to fruition, but we fleshed out some great ideas and did some roundups for who now was involved in the project. You wouldn't believe how quickly people come and go in water positions. My term expires in November of 2028 for the municipalities. And then, so what I do to represent you, I've represented the Moffat County municipality since August of 2015. I took over for Don Jones, who kind of got frustrated with the lengthy meetings and not much was going on at the time. So I'm actually currently the Yampa White Green chair. I just got elected in November, and that'll be a 2-year term. So that my term will run through November of 2027. I am the vice chair of the grant subcommittee. We spend a lot of time giving away the state's money to worthy projects here in the Yampa White Green Basin area. So I'm a member of the PEPO committee, which is Public Education, Participation, and Outreach. So we do a lot of things with like the school kids. We spend a lot of time and effort trying to get our booths. We have 2 booths that we try to get to some of the different events that happen in like Meeker, Rangeley, Craig, Hayden, and Steamboat. So I'm a member of the Big River Subcommittee, which unfortunately, all of the things that we did in support of the Colorado River Agreement didn't come to fruition. The 7 states couldn't decide what they were all they couldn't decide on a plan together. So that'll be left up to the Bureau of Reclamation to try to sort that out, I think. And I average about 30 hours per month of volunteer time. So like today, this Yampa Green was not on my radar for today's activities, and I spent 3 hours chasing down members to get votes on a letter of support for a big project between California Park and Elkhead Reservoir. The headwaters of the Colorado project wanted to do some work and wanted to get a grant from National Fish and Wildlife Federation. So I spent most of my morning on the phone trying to round up support for that project. And right before I came here today, I wrote the letter of support for the Basin Roundtable. It was support for the grant, to get a grant. So it's about I think it was about $338,000 is what they were asking for that grant. So I think it'd be a good deal. Anything we can do to get less sediment showing up in Elkhead reservoirs would be a good thing. As your representative on the Yampa White Green, I've been able to assist Peter, Melanie Kirkpatrick in obtaining funds for the Yampa River Diversion Park. That was kind of the early version of what turned into the Yampa River Corridor project. But we got some funding of about $65,000 in July of 2011. The Yampa Corridor project, I was able to help Melanie on that to get $200,000 in May of 2023. And then the Fortification Creek Stage Sensor and Telemetry project, I was able to help with trying to obtain that $10,000 grant to take advantage of that water right and put a measuring device on Fortification Creek, which there really aren't any before the city of Craig put theirs in. And then I've been able to assist Peter in the city of Craig with the Yampa River Dashboard project, and then I occasionally talk with Peter on different projects information. So I have great contacts throughout the water world at this point in time, and have been able to help with contractor selection and just make connections. So let me, oops, yeah. So one of the reasons you haven't seen me in a while is I have a couple of so I'm retired. I'm fully retired, and I swear I'm going to go back to work so I have more time to relax. So I've had some conflicts. So the council meetings that occur here on the second Tuesday of the month, I can't attend those. I'm a member. I've joined the Colorado First Conservation District. We were successful in getting a $3.26 million grant for sage grouse improvements based on the latest power line that came through Moffat County. We were able to tap in and get quite a bit of money for sage grouse habitat restoration type projects. So I'm in meetings from 2 to 7, it seems like. And there's normally an hour or two before and after those meetings just trying to sort stuff out. So it really conflicts with my ability to be here on the second Tuesday. And then on the fourth Tuesday of the month, it seems like that seems to be when all my other off meetings kind of off-schedule meetings take place. So I've been having real trouble trying to get here and just kind of keep you guys updated with what's been going on with the Yampa White Green. And like I said, my term expires November 2028, and at that time, I will have been City of Craig and Town of Dinosaurs representative for nearly 13 years. And then I guess if you have any questions for me, I could give you hours of update with everything that we're doing, but I know you guys have other business to attend to. I did want to show that yampawhitegreen.com, the web address. We have a really good web page. Talks about grants, talks about our basin implementation plan, talks about our PEPO resources. There's a lot of information on there. And then my contact, if you ever need anything, reach out either to the steve@yampawhitegreen.com or that's my cell phone, the 326-5050. So yeah, any questions for me concerning my efforts on the Basin Roundtable for you and the Town of Dinosaur?
I just have one.
Yes, sir.
You have another 13 years in you?
I don't think so, Chris.
Your knowledge level in the water world is so complex and everything about it that you have been invaluable with your contacts and your knowledge, and not going to be easy to replace you. So,
Well, I can tell you that I've been the chair for the last 2 years, and now I'm going to be for the next 2 years, and that just brings a whole another level of workload to be the chair of an organization that's got 31 members and has 3 or 4 different Colorado state departments that try to feed input into those roundtables. It's crazy. It keeps me hopping. So I'll definitely be glad to turn over the reins in 2 years to. My guess is probably Frank Alfone from Mount Warner Water up in Steamboat. He's the Yampa vice chair, Yampa River vice chair, and it normally goes like 4 years in Craig. It'll go 4 years in for somebody in Broward County, Steamboat, and then 4 years of somebody in the White River. So it's kind of a floating. It's not really in our bylaws or anything. That's just kind of the agreement is the chair floats around.
okay. Any questions for Steve? Again, thank you for the time you put in representing the city. Peter, do you have anything or? Nope.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, moving on, item 4, city manager's report. You're up, Peter.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. To start off, Mindy asked if I would introduce the application process that we're going to have to initiate each year for the water and sewer base rate discount program. And we do it that way for a purpose because it kind of gets lost in the shuffle if we don't have an application process each year. And so that initiates December 1st. And if you get in time, you'll start to receive, if you're qualified, you'll start to receive that discount January 1st through the fiscal year. Those who qualify are those that are permanently disabled. They could potentially qualify. Those would also include those enrolled in federal and state financial assistance, and those that have maintained their primary residence in Craig city limits for at least the last 10 years and are 65 years of age or older. And of course, we have proofs that you have to provide for each of these in most cases. And so anyhow, that was successful, I think, this year. We had about 2/3 of what we anticipated that enrolled in the program, and it offers a 20% discount for water and sewer rate, base rate. discount. Okay. You have my report in front of you. I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, Steve mentioned the telemetry project. That actually came out of the water rights study, and we received, of course, that grant from the roundtable in order to meet that requirement, so that we could adequately monitor Fortification Creek flows. Of course, we're restricted in terms of how much we can use from Fortification based on the flow that happens there at a given time. And so that's just one of the projects that came out of that. The other one is a project that Councilman Harrod's probably familiar with back in 2007. This is a project where we validated they call it the Wheeler method, which is an engineering group that developed a method for book over paper fill so that you could convert the California Park right, which is currently a conditional right. We could convert that to an absolute right. And why would we want to do that? Because the absolute right for that particular water right offers a lot of beneficial uses that include municipal, domestic, irrigation, stock water, industrial, power generation, and recreational uses. We have a very large storage right currently at Elkhead Reservoir, but it's pretty much limited to in-reservoir benefits for recreation, and I think we used it once for an industrial purpose. But this right would allow us to actually release, with the approval of the Colorado River District, release to supply and supplement our intake in especially dry years. In 2002, 2012, 2018, we potentially qualified for a supplemental release of 530 acre feet in each of those years, and that's just in this century. And so this is currently in due diligence as of, well, actually November 30th. As of November 30th, we'll be in a 60-day comment period where our request to convert this right to absolute using the Wheeler method book over and paper fill, which could happen after the end of January next year if adjudicated and the Judge Water Court approves our request to do that. And the real benefit here is it's generational. This is a water right that is one of the gems of this entire study. If this, and it looks very positive, we've talked to Division 6, and they have looked at the Wheeler method. They had some objection at first, but I think at this point, I think they will consider it positively and look to not provide, hopefully, an objection during the due diligence period here in the 60 days. If that happens, we would hope to have this adjudicated sometime next year. And as I said, this is probably the biggest water development for the city of Craig that I don't know if it's the biggest water development the city has ever seen, but it's a huge benefit to the community. Wanted to mention Derek, are you going to talk about the leadership meeting? I'll just leave that one alone if you plan on discussing that.
Whatever you guess, I'll hit, but whatever works for you, Peter.
Okay. On 11/18, we had the leadership conference with the various taxing entities and nonprofits in town that meet quarterly, and I think at least that's our plan. It was facilitated by Robin Shepard, and some of the key outcomes, well, we talked about the election outcomes for the RTA, marijuana tax, the LMD tax. We also had discussions about the Craig Sports Complex, the Moffett County Convention Center and Event Center. The county presented that and talked a little bit about the plan there. We had heard lots of different rumors on the event center breaking ground next year. That apparently is not the case, and so there was it looks like targeted construction is looking at 27, 28. We also discussed CNCC's student housing RFP and their grant letters of support for their student housing that they'd like to build on campus. There was discussions with Craig Memorial Hospital. And Craig Memorial Hospital has been a real supporter of our geothermal discussion with regard to the sports complex. And of course, they're in the middle of geothermal feasibility and design for the hospital and the medical office building at this point. And they're supporting our efforts with some good information, working with Danny quite a bit on how that could be configured for the business park, for the sports complex, and potentially for the public safety center. Future ballot planning, which was kind of one of the initial issues that we wanted to address with the leadership meeting with all the entities within the county, but mostly taxing entities and some nonprofits, was the anticipated ballot initiatives like the RTA in 2026, so that we're not bumping heads when we get to the ballot initiatives all showing up in the same year. Moffett County School District looks like they have a 2027 ballot initiative they'll be looking at, and I think Derek did a nice job of kind of hosting the meeting for us. Chris, I think you were out of town that period. So anyway, it was a good meeting. The last thing I wanted to talk about, any questions on that or any comments on the leadership conference? The Atmos, we had approved the Yampa Valley Electric franchise agreement, which had not been renegotiated since 1957. So we got that one completed a year ago, just over a year ago. We currently have been in negotiations with Atmos for the past 18 months, and they had a couple of hangups that I think we've recently overcome. And so I would anticipate, and I provided some of the key terms within the franchise agreement that we're looking at. I would anticipate we'll be looking at sometime in the late first quarter a potential approval for that agreement. It has because of state statutes, the franchise agreements have a pretty extended period of time for a lot of public input and outreach before we get to a vote on the approval of that agreement. I think that's all I had tonight. I appreciate all your support and prayers over the past couple of weeks with the loss of my father-in-law and my mother's NDE, close, but she pulled through, so I was happy to see that. Thank you.
The only thing I would say on the waterfront, keep up the work you've been doing. It's been a multi-year project and working, with the consultants on that. And we have to protect our water because everywhere else in the state wants it. Mm-hmm. Everywhere else in the country wants it.
Yeah.
And, whatever way they can get it. So we need to protect that valuable resource for future and, any growth whatsoever. So thank you for the work.
Yeah, the expertise that we have with Wilson Water Group and our attorney, Dave Bauer, they've had negotiations also and discussions with Tri-State because they're one of the storage right holders out there at Elkhead Reservoir, and so is the Colorado River District. So the three of us comprise the majority of the storage rights at that location. So it's been a all-encompassing and really beneficial process for us, although it's taken a heck of a long time to get to the end point. We're close to it now. So,
Anything for Peter? Hearing not, let's move on to council reports. Mr. Tucker.
Derek and I had a joint services committee meeting with Commissioner Booyer and Moffett County Sheriff. We talked about, first thing we discussed was the trail from the Boys and Girls Club to, with them pretty much to the Maverick. Looking like, trying to decide timeline based on the event center planning. The county is willing to supply gravel and help construction of the trail, but we just need to know if we're going to use the state highway easement or put it on Moffett County property, which would be probably easier. I don't know if you have any update on that, Danny, yet, or?
No updates. I did talk to Neil Binder today, and we are moving forward with the design and engineering work. The city's funding that. We have budget for it, and had a good conversation with Neil today. We're going to try to partner and arrive at a design that works well for the city, but also the county and their future event center.
Yeah, I think the county is concerned that if they put the event center there, we don't want to tear out trail that we just built, or issues like that. So we're trying to work through those issues. We also discussed the jail service agreement with the county, and I think we're going to have more discussion on that in the next few meetings, but we talked about the agreement of no first day payments and taking out the damages clause in the contract where if an inmate causes damage, we're responsible.
Good, good.
So more to come there too. And that's it.
Mr. Harrod, Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to have some time or
I'm good tonight.
tonight? Good,
Yeah,
okay.
this will be all right.
Randy will make up for it, so don't
Yes,
worry.
I'm sure. I see his notebook already.
Randy,
Had a MCTA meeting where they finalized the MOU with the chamber for their lease through 2026. They also talked about the LMD failure and wanted to reach out and figure out whether MCTA in the future needs to go back to picking up events and supporting those, which is what they did prior to LMD. The issue is that LMD supports events to the tune of 100 to 130,000. MCTA, the most they ever spent was 12. So whatever support they could do, if that is something they need to do, it's just a limited amount. They talked a lot about their event card and how to make it more visible and more usable. They talked about an event the museum is doing on the 27th to celebrate the county's 115th anniversary of Moffett County, so that's February 27th. And they talked about AI and how their director can best use it and whether they need to pay for service for them to use it. The EDAC, I'll let Derek talk about most of that. Chamber, we had started the meeting and it was a nice change where each board member talked about the various activities and the things they're involved in. So it's almost like a mini community informational meeting because the board members are involved in a lot of different things. So that was a great informational way to start out. We also had a presentation from Dave Perkins, who's with Tice Mining. They're in negotiations with Trapper on using part of their facility for a mining, basically equipment repair shop up there. They've done some work up there already, so it was a good presentation on where they're at and what they're looking at doing. The chamber approved their investment policy for the funds they received from their building on the Victory Way building. The budget, we agreed to take some of those funds. The chamber's had issues with IT and with our website for a number of years, and we've talked about it for a number of years and never really done anything about it. So we're going to take some of that funds up to $25,000 to spend to fix all our IT and website issues, hopefully this year. Membership, there's a new product that we're presenting. They revamped all of the memberships, but a new one where a 1-year free version for new businesses that we're going to roll out. So that'll start in 2026. We talked a little bit about the lease with the city, which the council will talk about more further. And then we changed our meeting dates due to try to get, make sure that our leadership, our executive team could be there. So we're now going to meet on the third Thursday from 8 to 9:30. We used to be this for 30 years. We've been the second Thursday from 11:30 to 1. So we're now the third Thursday from 8 to 9:30. I had a Northwest Colorado Innovation Center meeting, talked a lot about the Colorado Apprenticeship Incentive Grant to implement apprenticeships basically in construction and other trade businesses in this area. Grant is 2 years, $150,000. Normally, the business or the person doing the apprenticeship has to pay for that program. With this grant, we'll be able to pay for it. So we're going to get that application in the next week. We've already got some industry partners in construction and HVAC, and also YVEA is seriously interested. They have a lot of different openings in lineman, accounting, general maintenance, construction, all over the place. So that'll be a good partnership. We talked about the MOU with the city and the NCIC regarding the industrial park and our building over there. Rio Blanco, for those of you who hasn't heard, has pulled out of Northwest Colorado Development Council. And we talked about how NCIC, we had taken over the Rural Jumpstart program in Rio Blanco and whether we'd continue that. We've decided, since it's mainly dealing with Rangeley and Meeker, and they're both members of NCIC, that we will continue providing that support so that businesses in Meeker and Rangeley will have the possibility to participate in the Rural Jump Start program. We finalized an executive director position and job description. We're going to start moving forward with that because we received a 3-year, $100,000 grant just this last month that will basically pay for that position over the next 3 years. What else? We talked a lot about the MOU. There hasn't ever been one between the NWCDC and the Northwest Colorado Innovation Center. And so we're basically finalizing that and going to present it to the NWCDC sometime, probably the next month or the month after, just clarifying what their role is versus what ours is. We've become the fiscal agent for NWCDC. And so because of that, a lot of what NWCDC was doing, we're taking over as NCIC, and so we just want to clarify the positions. The Northwest Colorado Catalyst Revolving Loan Fund is up and running. We've already started having some applicants, and we're finalizing some of the flow with that, because originally First Southwest thought they had control, and it's really the NCIC Loan Committee that will be dealing with all the applicants and making that decision. They're the First Southwest is overseeing it with the money, but as far as making final decision, it'll be with the NCIC who gets to do that. Had an MRH board meeting. There was a great presentation on a new cardiac and pulmonary rehabilitation program that they started this summer. Started with 1 patient in June, they're now up to 25 patients. Money-wise, they started basically with $100 in profit. They're now up to $37,000 in profit. So it's exploded, and it's really been helpful to keep people here in Craig with this program instead of sending them down to Meeker or over to Steamboat. What else? They had a net income in October of $113,546, and year-to-date, they're up $1,125,523. Also, their cash on hand, their goal is to get over 90 days cash on hand. In October, they hit 95.2 days. So that's the first time in years they've met that goal. So that was pretty cool. I also had a lot of other meetings. Rotary did a book fair in the 6th grade where we gave out free books to all 6th graders. I was at the city employee luncheon. LMD, didn't talk about that. We approved a project with Yampa Valley Entertainment where they're going to do a series of concerts at the Chamber from January through May. So we are sponsoring that. And then we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how LMD was going to continue. And what basically decided to do was have Justin, myself, and Chris send a letter to the city, the county, and Dinosaur asking for advice as to how we move forward. I did a River Park tour. I attended the high school play. That's it.
Good, you're busy. Katie, we're putting that meeting together, right, for the ex officio board?
Yes.
For
I sent
the
it to
LMD?
County and to Dinosaur to get some good days.
Right.
Hopefully, around our next meeting.
So more to come on that meeting to give the LMD board some direction.
Can you say, because our meeting is gonna be before that, can you just send something, or I can talk about it, saying that, yes, once you get a date, that they're gonna have that?
Once I get a date, I will be happy to share that.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything else? You
Nope.
good?
And good.
Michelle?
I attended the 4-H Achievement Night a couple weeks ago. They did a really good job celebrating the children and youth that had achievements in the 2024-2025 4-H year. I attended the community leadership meeting last week with Derek and Peter, I guess maybe 2 weeks ago now. I also attended the City Employee Service Awards. The staff did a really good job with that, so thank you again. I attended 3 sports complex sessions and then the workshop that was done for City Council last week as well. The Axe Board meeting was canceled. We did not have a quorum, but they're working on rescheduling that so they can get their budget approval done, and I'll bring those numbers back. Library Board meeting was scheduled at the same time as our special council meeting last week, so I was not able to attend that. But Keisha did let me know they are not going to pursue funding from the City of Dinosaur for the Dinosaur branch. I was also unable to attend the Suicide Prevention Coalition meeting. It was the same time as another meeting that we had. It's been very busy. And then I just wanted to remind everyone that there are a lot of events coming up in the community, so make sure you're attending the parade and tree lighting and all those fun things.
Cool.
That's all I got.
If we don't, what?
I don't know.
Derek?
Yeah, community leadership meeting. Peter, great job with the summary. For the new council members, that's just a quarterly meeting between CNCC, school district, Senior Social Center was there this time, MRH, LMD, Moffett County, and I think we had representation from Town of Dinosaur.
We did.
So quarterly meetings, just to discuss ways to collaborate and not get in each other's way. I think the sports complex kind of dominated the conversation, which was a positive in my opinion. A lot of support, a lot of potential advice on how to maybe make that a successful ballot measure if that's what it goes to. Jennifer Riley gave an update with collaboration with the city on the pickleball courts and pursuing grant funding to help assist with that. So a lot of little projects and conversation stem from those quarterly meetings, which I think the first 2 meetings have been successful, in my opinion. And the county has volunteered to host the next one. So
Cool.
I think February, is that what
They
it was?
providing food too?
I think they'll provide food and maybe
Cool.
facilitator,
to
maybe
make that
not.
one,
We'll
so.
see. But no, it was good turnout and good conversation. Luke mentioned the joint service meeting. I think the big takeaway from that was we got verbal commitment on cost sharing and in-house work on the trail, whether that happens in 26 or 27. They have committed to help us with that, so that was a positive. Economic Development Advisory Council reviewed the 2026 budget that council adopted. We approved marketing alliance campaign up to $45,000. EDAC contracts with them to help market Craig, help market properties, run the website, help with 8th Street development. So $45,000 approved to them. We discussed the Moffett County Courthouse property, which is called the Victory property. If you recall, 6 weeks ago, we did a marketing campaign and sent out some information and published it locally as well that as an incentive, the county is willing to give that property away to attract some developers. Within that marketing campaign, we heard little to no response. The board has decided to direct Shannon to put out a potential RFP in January to attract hopefully some developers on that. So kind of the idea was kind of follow the trend that we did with the business park. We put out an RFP and we ended up getting four proposals sent back. So hopefully we'll be able to get some attention of some developers in this area or within Colorado or even Utah to respond to that. So more to come on that. Gravy Train, good job. Record year. I participated and I finished, but don't ask me what place I got. Sports complex, numerous meetings. I attended one representing Moffett County Youth Basketball, which was interesting. Moffett County Youth Wrestling was there along with the pickleball group, which was good. Those are kind of the three outside entities that are that need gym space. So good conversations there on what everyone's vision was. So hopefully you got all that figured out, Ryan. But yeah, more to come on that. And then we mentioned the 8th Street Zoom call with Senator Roberts, which, you know, it's moving in the right direction, in my opinion. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Regarding the Victory Way property, Shannon, EDAX asked Shannon to reach out to the developer who did the townhome and retail space in Hayden. She got a response and a positive response. So he's interested in going to contact and possibly look into possibly being a developer for that project, which I thought was great.
Nice.
Good. Cool.
And I got to disclose, I will abstain from 7F on the agenda.
I was gonna ask that in a minute, so. Okay, I'll ask it again and restate, so. Janelle, do you have anything?
I do not have anything.
Okay.
Looking forward to participating, though, in the various community meetings, I'm sure.
Okay, and first meeting January, we're gonna divvy up, committee assignments, board appointments. So, that's on our radar, so.
Okay, perfect.
And we will act,
A lot, so show up for that one.
we will act on the first meeting in December, also on canceling the second meeting if there's no significant business. So that'll be more to come the next couple meetings. I guess it's my turn, so I don't have a ton. I will apologize for missing the community leadership meeting and the council meeting, but I am also the president of the board of the Boys and Girls Club of Northwest Colorado, which is Craig Steamboat and soon to be Oak Creek Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors was awarded a Soaring of Eagles Award recognition from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Southwest and Southeast councils. So basically half the country of all the clubs. So I was proud to help represent our club and how good our Boys and Girls Clubs have been functioning and the vital services of serving the youth of our community. So that's where I was. In addition to that, what else? High school play. Brenda and I attended that. 3 little mini-series plays. Fabulous job that the kids performed. They knew their parts. They knew their lines. Very good. So that was a good. Attended 3 or 4 different meetings with our attorneys representing us in the Hayden Excel ERP, Energy Resource Plan, where we intervened. We had a council workshop on that. Give you a little bit of update. We are filing the joint request for rehearing, re-argument, and consideration of the PUC's original ruling, where they basically only awarded 6 years property tax for Unit 2 of Craig Station and did not award anything to the community for the community assistance to Craig and Moffett County for the 60% of Hayden's workforce that lives within the city of Craig. So we are issuing our own triple R, as well as a joint triple R with 3 of the 4 communities that were affected by Excel's ERP. As we discussed, we were concerned about Pueblo and what they would do during our workshop on their joint Triple R. They decided not to join the rest of us. So the three other communities, which would be us, Routt County, Hayden, I guess four other, and so we'll join them. Plus, we're going to do our own request again for reconsideration, which will be asking for 10 years property tax for Unit 2 at Craig Station, and then our original community assistant ask again. So we'll see where that gets us, and it's solely in the hands of the PUC. The reason for going jointly with the other communities is we're trying to say we respect the POC's decision, but respectfully, you got it wrong. All the communities are not happy, and would you please reconsider? So that's where we are with that. That has to be submitted tomorrow by 5 o'clock, so that's in progress. City Service Awards, Mindy, you did a fabulous job, and the rest of the decorating crew. We had Rod Durham is our oldest serving city employee now with 40 years. He was awarded. So that was given out. Every employee of the city received an award, even our less than 1 year. So thank you, Katie, and everybody for setting all that up, all the certificates and everything we set out. And that cake was wonderful, too. So good job. I attended the Craig Sports Complex Q&A, the outreach at the chamber. It was amazing, all the support that's there. The people that don't support the project, I would hope they would show up at some of these outreach meetings and voice their concerns, and maybe we can address some of their concerns. But, when they're silent, it's kind of hard to really understand what they're talking about. And, of course, the workshop we had with council. Attended the Northwest Colorado Development Council, NWCDC Zoom. Really, at that one, we just did a lot of project updates. Shannon was on that call with me as well. A lot of updates from Sasha Nelson and her new role as a professional economic developer, soon to be. Discussed budget items somewhat. No real major budget or decisions that were made. Fire Board participated on the Craig Rural Fire Protection District Board meeting last week. Mainly just paid bills, but the biggest thing there is they're hiring probationary firefighters. So anybody in the community that wants to give it a try, you can either go on the craigfirerescue.org website. There are QR codes posted at the fire station. You can download applications, or you can actually pick up an application while you're at the fire station getting QR code. So really, we're getting down to a critical level of volunteer firefighters. It's actually not a full-time position. It's a paid-per-call position, but you do volunteer considerably more time than that you actually get paid for. Upcoming events, Michelle covered Cowboy Christmas, December 6th at the Boys and Girls Club. That's a major fundraiser for the clubs. It's going to be at the Boys and Girls Club, and I think starts at 6 o'clock or something, Brenda? So sometime around there. The Parade of Lights on the 29th. The community get together. Community does a great job with all the floats. The parade heads, I hear the city is going to have a float according to Mindy. So it'll be great to see that float. And do you need help or anybody from?
We're setting up tomorrow, but council is welcome to come and walk along in the parade. We have masks for people to wear.
Cool, okay. So that's a first, since I've been here for a long time, right? So congratulations there, pulling that together. And for council, there's the Energy Community Alliance webcast I can send you information if you're interested on it, but it's how data centers can help advance nuclear energy development. So it's about a 2-hour webcast. Again, how if we've actually had a couple data centers come talk to us, but how, if we could schedule or land something like that, how that could energize that nuclear discussion again. So that's pretty much for me. I do have 3 thank you letters from Fair Kids that we helped contribute to their purchase of their 4-H animals. So Trig Sickers thanks us. Landon Van Tassel thanks us. And then we also had Mandy and Libby Churchalis. So, as you know, every year we do an add-on to their sale. We don't buy them, but we add on a dollar amount, so we help out the Fair Kids. Okay, now is the time for council disclosure of any potential conflicts of interest regarding the agenda items.
I will abstain from 7F.
Okay? Any other?
I'm on the board on Valley Golf Course. Is that a problem, or it's not
Yeah.
a paid position or anything?
You're gonna abstain?
I can't. I was gonna ask Gary. I don't know. What do you think? Huh? Okay. I guess I'll stay in then.
Okay. If the attorney doesn't have any objection, I don't. Okay, so moving on, item 6, public hearing, we have none scheduled. Item 7, other business, city clerk Katie Carmody to present for discussion and nomination of an assistant mayor as is required by the Home Rule Charter for the city of Craig, Colorado, Article 2, City Council, Section 4, Mayor. Council, who would like to serve as the mayor pro tem or the assistant mayor? Mr. Duran has served in previous years and has done a great job when I'm unable. Mr. Duran, would you consider? I would nominate you.
Sure.
Second.
No sense to debate that, right? Okay, let's have a motion and a second for Derek Duran to continue as the mayor or to be the mayor pro tem for the next 2 years. I'm getting discussion here by staff. Is that okay? Okay, so I guess by acclamation, or we have to vote on that?
Vote on it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Mr. Duran, congratulations.
And, excuse me, Mayor, just for the record, you did the nomination and it was seconded by Mr. Looper?
Carried.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
See, Joe didn't want it coming back that way, so there you go.
I knew how to do it.
Okay. Item 7B, Public Works Director Danny Paul to present for discussion and approval, introduction and first reading, ordinance 1174, 2025, an ordinance of the City of Craig amending Title III, Chapter 3.08 of the Craig Municipal Code to update purchasing and procurement regulations and establish the City of Craig purchasing and procurement policy as adopted by Resolution Number 36, 2025. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. This ordinance is really just a cleanup and a follow-on to a resolution that was passed at the last council meeting. That's Resolution 36, 2025, which was to adopt a new purchasing and procurement policy. The city's been working on this ever since I started here 6 months ago, but I think this goes back longer than that. Our existing purchasing code is fairly minimal, and it's entirely contained within the municipal code. So this ordinance just cleans that up. It basically removes all all the purchasing regulations from the municipal code and puts them into this policy. And with that, eliminates any chance for there being conflicting information between the two sources.
Only a cleanup of regulations. We already approved the policy.
That's correct. And I welcome any questions you might have on that.
No questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 1174, 2025.
Second.
Randy? Or Luke? Councilwoman Gopsel made a motion to approve ordinance 1174, 2025, seconded by Councilman Looper. Any discussion?
Councilman Tucker.
Tucker, not Looper. I wrote Looper down. Tucker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's approved. Moving item C, Parks and Recreation Director Ryan Dennison to present for discussion and approval a contract with James Williams to provide entertainment services for the 2026 Whittle to Wood Rendezvous not to exceed $20,000. Mr. Dennison.
Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. In front of you have the service agreement for Mr. Williams for entertainment services. So we've worked with him in the past. It's an efficient way to conduct the entertainment. Does a great job of finding that. Very proactive in that. And as you know, entertainment's a big piece of the event. So the plan would be, if council is receptive to this, to start planning those planning efforts for entertainment. And this is all inclusive, not to exceed the $20,000. So all entertainment, bands, lodging, everything in there. So this, every year, we have a special events manager now. So this will be able to be to help Melanie kind of wrap her arms around the event entertainment side with Whittle to Wood. But that's not to say every year we'll potentially need to do this, as Melanie could potentially do the entertainment piece. We'll just have to see how that goes yearly. So that's it in a nutshell. Any questions?
I just have a question on the $20,000. I know what good sound costs. I know what lodging's gonna cost you. And I know what the 5 bands that Balloon Festival does. You're not gonna be able to, and not have decent bands, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it for 20,000, personally. That's just a comment.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Give it our best shot.
What's the history of how much we've spent on bands in the past?
Yeah, so it ranged all the way in years ago from 80,000, 60, 30. Last year we did 25,000. This year 20. It's a large expense, and it's a big component of that for sure. It's just part of it. I think there's some good local. It's nice working with James in that respect, as far as availability. The Colorado, the groups or entertainment that's good followers, and try to set that up and what works for the event. So some good things there.
And you're pretty confident you're going to get enough bands, enough interest there for that kind of money, based on it's the lowest we've spent?
Yeah, we're sure going to be, I think, creative, up in newcomers. For sure, like Randy said, entertainment's expensive.
How many bands total? 3 on Saturday, 2 on Friday? Or do you know?
We don't know yet. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think the past 2 years, that committee's kind of shifted direction towards the primary focus being the carving and not the entertainment. So I think we've gone back and forth with this numerous times, which I agree.
Well, and I agree. I think it has gone towards carvers, and I think that's a good thing.
So
I just, based on what I'm looking at right now, I don't see how you do it for 20,000. I just, unless you can get the motels to donate, which they haven't done for the last 3 years. And unless you get a lot cheaper person doing sound than I've been able to find.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
yeah.
I 25, I think you could probably do it. I don't see how you do it for 20. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I assume this budget would maybe be 30 if we didn't have the last 2 years of track record.
Yeah.
That was tough, but,
Yeah, it was
and
tough.
I think this year it's gonna be potentially at,
Yeah, at the fairgrounds.
which
Yeah, which will help.
will help, so I agree, I don't know if, yeah,
And
if we can approve this 20,000, and if you have more in your
and that's the,
offer, if something comes up
Comes
and
up,
we're like,
makes
we need a
difference.
little more to get this attractive band here, I
yeah.
think that would be the push.
And it's what's nice, so just shifted, it's all within the Willowwood budget, but just shifted that, to, yeah, to operations side, so, good feedback.
Take your
Did we
recommend-
hire James last year? Did Melody?
Melody did it.
Yeah, Melody did it, yeah.
Okay,
Maybe you should hire Randy. He does.
I've tried, yeah, I know, I've tried. He's a busy guy.
you didn't give him enough budget, I can tell.
I guess he's saying I'm cheap, so.
Good, stay that way. No, but the weather, I think, has been the largest issue for the
It's just
last couple
huge.
months, years, anyway. So, all right, council.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with James Williams to provide entertainment services for 2026 Wood of the Wood, not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
Councilman Duran made a motion to approve the contract with James Williams, second by Councilman Tucker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes.
Thank you.
You have a budget. Item D, City Manager Peter Brixis to present for discussion and nomination of city council members as a director and an alternate director to the Board of Directors for the Yampa Valley Transportation Authority. Mr. Brixis?
Well, I think Randy has done a fantastic job of representing us on the RTA committee. I would think if there's nominations, he certainly should be at the top of the list for the director position, but that's a council decision. Mayor, are you going to lead that nomination process?
Yes. Well, I will open nominations on it,
Okay.
but only thing I will say is Randy's been involved with this since its formation of the formation committee. And, he probably hits the ground running faster than anybody else will. And then hopefully the alternate director will be up and running as his replacement someday. So, who would like, I will open nominations for the position of director to the Yampa Valley Transportation Authority.
I nominate Randy Looper.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to nominate by Councilwoman Gotchel, seconded by Councilman Aaron. Randy Decker to the position of director. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Randy. Now I would open the nominations for the alternate director to the board for the Yampa Valley Transportation Authority.
Don't do it.
Michelle, would you like that? I heard you were kind of recommended to me.
I was.
But if you don't like it, I can take it. I don't know if it fits your schedule. The meetings you have,
Meetings will probably start monthly in January, other than,
what time of the day?
it hasn't been set yet till the board's set.
Right, okay.
I
There's
can,
always a Zoom option. It would just be nice if we could have an alternate who is there, whether I'm there or not.
I
You'd have
can
time.
do it if it conflicts with your schedule,
I'm gonna pass, just
Okay.
because I do have a job as well.
okay? That's why I said Joe or Janelle or, nope?
You wanna do it, Jim?
I can give it a try.
Okay? So, somebody nominate.
Nominate Janelle Linscomb.
Okay, Councilman Tucker made a motion to nominate Janelle Linscomb, seconded by
Me.
Mr. Looper. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Randy
Talking
will,
to you,
he
Randy.
communicates to you if he can attend. He's been pretty good about that, so, with at least me. Item E, Finance Director Mindy Elliott to present for discussion and approval, first reading, ordinance number 1175, 2025, an ordinance to levy and establish the percentage rate for additional sales tax on the sale of retail marijuana and marijuana products in the city of Craig, Colorado for and during the period beginning the first day of January 2026.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the election was certified today. The marijuana initiative that was on the ballot did pass by 9 votes. So we're needing direction from council this evening on the percentage that you want to set for that additional tax. It can be anywhere from 0 up to 4%. And the proceeds that we would collect were just the pass-through agency, so we would collect it, and half goes to the library and half goes to the museum.
Can you remind us what we're at currently?
We're currently at 3%.
3%?
Yeah. Well, it expired in
Right.
August because we hit the cap. This ballot initiative had no cap, and it does not sunset.
So we raised 50,000 for each entity.
Right.
Correct. So when
And
we
it
hit the cap.
ran out, the cap was reached in August, so.
I mean, looking at the way the budget for the museum is gonna go and the expenses they have, and what's going on with the library, I think we need to go 4%, at least for the first year, and then see what happens after the first year.
So we're only raising
course.
it 0.5%.
No,
From
one.
what-
1%.
Well, it was 3.5 you said, or 3?
It was 3.
So 1%.
It was 3%, so you'd be going up another additional percent.
But do you have the projection on what we would have raised if?
So, yeah, we would have probably been close to 130,000, if we hadn't hit the cap, or a tad bit more
At the 3%.
at the
At
3%.
the 3%.
So what would that 4% number be off the top of your head? I know you got a calculator in.
I think when I calculated when we were first looking at it, we're projecting that at 3% it was gonna be about 150,000 if we went through a full entire year. So I would say even at 4%, we're probably gonna still be around that same amount, just depending on what the sales have been doing.
150,000. Well,
I don't
how
know.
much tax do they pay total?
So total,
Yeah.
without this, they're just under 25%. So the state automatically charges 15%, and then we have the city sales tax at 4%, the county at 2%, and the state does their additional.
Which we receive less of the state.
Yeah, I was gonna
now,
say,
correct?
that's been
Right.
reduced.
That is correct. The state, we used to get 10% back of that 15%. It's now down to less than 2% that we're receiving
Because of their budget issues?
budget.
because of their budget issues.
Right. Good old state.
I think I'd be more comfortable keeping it at the 3%.
I agree.
I think I would too.
Keeping it at 3. I'll entertain a motion then.
I will move, oh boy, to approve ordinance number 1175, 2025, with a percent of 3 for 2026. That was beautiful.
That's fine, I think.
I'll second that.
Okay, Councilwoman Gotchall made a motion to approve ordinance 1175 with the 3% levy additional sales tax on the sale of retail marijuana and products within the city of Craig, seconded by Councilman Tucker. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have first reading. Item F, Public Works Director Danny Paul to present for discussion and approval the Yampa Valley Golf Course Flood Mitigation Plan and staff recommendations.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. I'll lead this one off, and depending on what questions you have, I might have to lean on my colleague Ryan here. For a little background, since the Craig River Park in-stream improvements went in 2 years ago, for the last two spring runoffs, there's been some isolated flooding on hole 16, which we believe has something to do with the river improvements, raising the water level and causing it to flood onto hole 16. And so when I started here in June, we started taking a look at that with our engineers, and we looked at a few different options to try to mitigate that, those having various impacts to environmental. And we settled on one with input from the golf course and its board. And so we just finalized that. We always plan to do this work in the early winter months if weather allows, because we need to get on the fairway and the course, and we want to do that after the ground is hardened, after the course is closed. And in this case, we're trying to take advantage of some budget that we already have approved this year that's won't be used. We did, due to the time constraint of trying to get this done before the end of the year, we did solicit 2 proposals for the construction. We obtained proposals from Anson Excavating, who's working nearby at the River Park. They're finishing that up this month or into next month. And then also Duran and Pierce Contractors. Anson had the edge on that. Of course, they have resources right there nearby in the form of equipment and people. Their cost to complete this work was $31,717, and we're thankful that we were able to obtain a second proposal from Duran and Pierce. Their cost was close to double that, and a large reason is Duran wasn't certain he could get in there in the month of December, so he was planning for some inclement weather and having to work through that. Like I said, also the proximity, Anson having the resources already there. To pay for this, we are not asking for an appropriation. The Parks and Rec Department, which I'll let Ryan speak to if you have any questions, had a project that was budgeted and planned for this year, but it had to be postponed. And so we would be able to repurpose those funds and act on this quickly with your approval tonight. And to go along with this, we are also looking to execute a memorandum of understanding with the golf course just to get some acknowledgement of the different roles and responsibilities from the city and from the golf course. This isn't something, I should have mentioned that the solution here is to build a berm along hole 16, an earthen berm. It's about 3 feet in height and will prevent that water from flooding onto the course. But there will be some maintenance and upkeep with it, and we were thankful that the golf course was willing to allow this, and in turn they hopefully won't see that seasonal flooding that has occurred in the last few years since the River Park improvements were built. And so with that, the staff recommends selecting Anson Excavating to complete the construction of the earthen berm in the month of December is our plan, after the ground is hardened. And staff also recommends repurposing the budget that's already been approved under the Parks and Recreation Department on the amount of $35,000 to cover those costs to complete this project before the year end. And do you have anything to add? I think we'll take any questions you have and go from there.
So how are you going to guarantee that the ground's gonna freeze in December?
No guarantees.
We hire them and then they can't get it done in December. What's the alternative?
No, well, yeah, so the contract we've drafted for Anson gives them till the end of January and a commitment. So if for some reason we keep getting these mild temps and that ground doesn't harden up.
It froze last year that much.
Yeah. Yeah. And the work could still be completed when the ground isn't frozen. Like I said, one of the factors was that we wanted to do this when the course is closed, which only gives us a certain amount of months. Weather's unpredictable, but hopefully freeze will settle in here as we get into December. And Mike Anson with Anson Excavating is pretty confident he can get it done and not make a mess.
With the berm, they're eventually gonna grass it, grow vegetation? What is it they're gonna do to hold it so it isn't eroded every year?
Yes, sir. So it will be revegetated. It will take some time for that vegetation to grow. Many feel that if we can get it seeded before we get snowfall, that will help early germination next year. But it's going to take a few growing seasons to reach a point of density to where it isn't susceptible to erosion, stuff like that.
3 foot enough.
Yes, yeah. So that's been part of the delay. We did do some modeling and have the engineers take a quick. It's a very complex watershed down there with all the interconnected waterways and the river. One of the solutions we drew up would have basically created a levee along that area, along the river, and prevent the river from backflowing altogether, but that would come with some pretty significant environmental challenges. So this was kind of the next best thing, but also a little better on the pocketbook too.
So just for a point of order here, we're not approving a budget appropriation. We're just approving your plan.
Yeah, we wanted council to agree and accept and support our plan here, and so we wanted to bring it in front of you. And since it is a repurposing funds that you've already appropriated, we definitely wanted your chance to give input. We can always wait. We can pursue a different design. We could put this out to a competitive bid and see if prices come down. Unfortunately, if we do that, we're going to miss our opportunity to get it done here during the winter. So.
How long is this berm, foot-wise?
450. It stretches from the tee boxes down to the green along the right-hand side if you're looking toward the green.
Okay.
So no dirt or rocks are gonna be put in the river, is what you're saying? It's gonna be on top?
That's correct. It'll be built on top of the.
Environmental to get to the river?
Yeah, it'll be built right on the edge of the existing fairway. Yeah.
If you got in the river, it'd be a couple years, so
Yeah,
we got approvals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have some interim erosion control measures to make sure we're not filling the river with dirt.
Not that I don't care, you don't put water or rocks in the river, but they're not gonna let you.
No.
Okay,
It'll keep my golf ball in bounds a little bit better. That's what I'm.
That's what we're getting at.
a dog leg there, huh? You need a little higher, right?
Yeah, a net.
Okay, council, any other questions for Danny? Hearing none, council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the Yampa Valley Golf Course Flood Mitigation Plan.
Second.
Councilman Looper made a motion to approve the golf course flood mitigation plan, seconded by Councilman Harrod. Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Danny, approved. Thank you. Item 8, Mr. Duran, you can entering the council meeting again. Item 8, council discussion and requests for future agenda items.
The chamber, 3 years ago, voted to donate the Marcia car to the city if the city wanted it. There's been no movement on the city at this point. My concern, one, I talked to Danny a little bit with the plan for the depot and the depot district. An ideal would be for the city to take it over and, I think, move it over next to the new depot as part of that district. But prior to that happening, my concern is if the city, for whatever reason, doesn't decide to move forward on it, that the chamber decides, fine, we'll keep it and sells it. Because the chamber's future without the LMD is we're working on it, but it's not great. So I just wanted, I wasn't sure where we're at, if we talked about it, if we decided anything with it, or.
Randy, what's the timing on your thought process in terms of selling the?
I don't know if we ever would, but 2 to 3 years, I don't even know if that'd be a possibility. I'm just saying that it's not insured to what it should be.
So, because the chamber can't afford to do that. So if there's any damage to it, it's gonna be a problem. If the chamber runs into money problems, which I don't know if they will, but if they do, that could be a problem. For the city to take it over and just leave it where it is until we decide whether with a depot plan or something else, it's basically insurance. I don't know,
How much?
don't know. I
What
I
is
know
it?
right now the chamber has it covered up to $75,000, and that's
Well, I know
1,600.
Dan Davidson has expertise that could come in and appraise that unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we.
If
he
we were
has had
trying
it
to get a
appraised.
value. Oh, you have a valuation?
Right.
Yeah, we do have a valuation of what it's worth.
What is that?
Depends on which way you.
Oh, Dan's here.
Go ahead. Market, replacement, historic, there's 3 different ways to value.
It's priceless unless you find the right person.
Right,
Right.
it is.
It's
And we've been lucky, we haven't, I mean, far as I know, at least in the 15, 16 years I've been part of the chamber, we've never had a claim, we've never had an issue, we've never had any damage, we've never had anyone fall and hurt themselves, so we've been great. And it can continue that way for a number of years, it's just a concern. So,
Well-
I just wanted to bring it up.
We'll discuss this a little, well, Peter, go ahead. You want, originally, we talked about moving it next to the museum, which I've always felt that would be a draw for the museum. But there's logistical problems with that too.
Well, that could be done, but we'd have to eliminate some parking and move that curb line out, just to accommodate that, which, I mean, is probably less expensive than some other alternatives, but, I think, Dan said that the, mobilization, trying to transfer the car and get it to that location is probably the greater expense.
And I think it's
Yeah.
less, Dan and I have talked, and I think it's less now than it was when the chamber looked at, before the depot was torn down back in 2008 or 9. We looked at moving the Marshall car over next to the depot at that time. And at that time, it was 400 to 500,000 to do it. And I think it's a lot less than that at this point, because what that was gonna do is you're gonna lay track and roll it over to where the depot was.
I think what we need is a council consensus on what you would like staff to do here. I mean, is the impetus to have the city take that asset over and find a new location for it, or what did you want us to start looking to plan for?
Well, I talked to Dan, it's been several years now, about being next to the museum, because where it's sitting now, since the chamber has moved, it's a wasted asset. So, either we do something with it, or it's just gonna deteriorate to the point of, so, it is a valuable resource to the right person, the right agency, or whatever. I don't see the community ever wanting to sell it. But I also know it's going to be an expensive move to move it anywhere, either Depot District or, Mountain Rail, when and if, and
Our attorney wants to caution us not to make any decisions, just discussion and consensus of what the
Right.
council, a feasibility, if we're looking at a feasibility of what that potential might look like, we could start to gather some information on it from a staff perspective.
If anything, I would just like to know what it costs the city to take it and insure it. I mean, even if we don't do
that's your-
anything with it, I really would, because I don't know what it's gonna cost to insure it the way it should be insured. Under the city plan, which is a lot better than the chamber would ever be able to afford.
Well, I think between Dan Davidson and Katie Carmody, we can get a hold of Cirsa and come up with some reasonable estimates on that.
okay? Just so Janelle and Joe know, this is the section for council to come up with future topics you would like to see. Obviously, we cannot vote on, it's not on the agenda, But we will refer them to staff, and then staff and I meet the Thursday before council to go over what agenda items are ready, so, so if it's a lot of staff time, or it's gonna take a long time, then we'll kind of keep it that way, so. So it's usually, and Derek attends some of those as well, so, as pro tem, so. All right, anything else?
I have one thing. When I was running, the biggest complaint I had was Mac Lane, the speed limit on Finley and Mac Lane. And I know that the city's been working on that, but I don't want us to drop the ball on that. There was a lot of homeowners that contacted me on the speed limit, the traffic. So one of the biggest issues that I haven't been up there and looked, but one of the biggest issues was, and I don't even know if I can say this, so maybe I won't say it, but I think we need to look into who's causing the issues of the speed. It's not all the kids, it's other things. So, but I'd like to know, if it's really an issue or if we really need to
Because, yeah.
do so. We've done some studies. I know we had some traffic.
I was just gonna mention that. Yeah,
We just had the speed trailer there at the start of school for,
Okay, well,
I think, 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's kind of, just so I get that out there that I.
yeah, we can, Councilman, we can pull that information that we have, most current information, and take a look at that and see if it needs to be updated.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I'm asking, is we need to,
I'm not sure if we can tell you who,
I'm not
but,
asking who, I'm just saying.
okay.
The issue is there, can't go after one guy, we can go after everybody. Not after him, but we can, maybe the city can come in and come up with a plan to make it so it's safer for everybody that's traveling that road. And, out of everybody I talked to, that seemed to be the biggest issue.
I've expressed my concern on 9th Street too, to the police chief.
And that's the other one that was brought
Yeah.
up, so, yeah.
So, coming up that way, but, yeah, that's the number one complaint we hear a lot of is speed. I don't care, where it's at in the community, so I know PD tries to respond,
They do a great
Woodbury.
job.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
Woodbury, we changed the speed limit, put in 4-way stop there. It seems to help, I think, but, we're not getting the amount of complaints there, but, we'll refer it.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none, let's go to staff reports. Parks and Rec Director Ryan Dennison to present an update on the Center of Craig usage.
Thank you, Council. So this wasn't forgotten. This was a question asked during our all-day budget meeting. A council member asked, the usage of the Center of Craig. Just thought I'd bring in more formal, get accurate numbers of a depiction how the usage at the Center of Craig. So it just goes through the whole year and the amount of rentals, around 92 this year we've had rentals. And they broke it up into specific apartments or components into the Center of Craig, the auditorium, chapel, kitchen, things like that. We also have the Connections for Kids being rented there all year. So it's been great. Just wanted to show the usage for the Center of Craig. We get a lot of birthday parties, quinceañeras, baptism celebrations, just kind of run the gamut. Staff, we all take turns on call, doing check-ins at the center, just making sure the renters, if they have any questions, we're just on call to assist them if they need. So just wanted to get this information out to council and to kind of show the Center of Craig rentals. And part of that, we don't, the Parks and Recreation Department doesn't handle the building or the building side of the budget, the building department does, but just included that in the packet, as well as the revenues that we collected to date at the center, Craig. Any questions?
But that 11,000, that's to date that we've received.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
I mean, I like that it's consistently being used. I mean, per month, I mean, at least it's quite a few days of use, really, so.
Yeah.
It's more than I thought it was.
It's pretty neat to just look at the numbers, because you say, yeah, it's busy, or, but to look at the numbers, it's.
If
If
you
you
about
look
weekends
at,
or-
yeah, I was gonna say, if you're looking at weekends, it's pretty much used most weekends.
It
During
is.
the week, probably not, but.
It is.
Well, and I think the question was brought up, and we need to look at this, especially if there's the event center coming, and will that give them extra avenues? And, the city's gonna have to look at some of these, costs we're incurring for certain buildings around town. If revenues decrease, we're gonna have to look at some of these and saying, are they really worth keeping? So I think we monitor these numbers and see what kind of deficit it runs at. So, at that point, and see, some hard decisions may have to be made down the road, so. I don't know what else we would do with it, who would,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I don't know what it's worth, if anything.
Serves a purpose for sure right now, I'd say.
Definitely. Okay?
Yeah, and I think this deficit that we're showing here, this one, in my opinion, is fairly easy to swallow. It's when you get the $200,000 rooftop unit every few years,
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So, these older buildings have some big capital
Yep.
projects coming down the road, so. But being more used than I thought, so thanks for the report.
You bet.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item 10, public comment. Public comment is time set aside for citizens to address city council on matters within the jurisdiction of the city. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not cede their time to another speaker. The city council can only act on matters that are on the agenda, but may place matters brought to their attention at this meeting on future agendas for consideration. So with that said, open up public comment. Going once, going twice, and we'll close public comment. Item 11, closing remarks and informational items. Staff, any closing remarks? No. All right, council. Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Looper made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Councilman Tucker. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.